Hospitalized was Josie Duggar. Fans were taken aback by the sudden health issue. Josie Duggar, the more reserved member of one of America's most watched families, was admitted to the hospital for health reasons in a shocking development that shocked the Duggar fan base. The unexpected news release sparked a flurry of worry, conjecture, and close media attention. As social media exploded with questions, longtime Duggar family fans were left in shock. Prayers as well as hypotheses regarding the type and severity of Josh's illness. This is not just another update about the family. It is a profoundly human tale that highlights the conflict between a family's decades-long public scrutiny and their inner fragility. Fundamentally, this story highlights the delicate relationship between public perception, family responsibilities, and health. Josie Duggar views her hospital stay as more than just a medical incident. It turns into a story that fans examine, evaluate, and discuss. Private crisis has limited place in the Duggar household, which is characterized by strictly regulated appearances, strict religious standards, and carefully manicured public personas. As a result, Josie's current circumstance is emphasized, enlarged, and examined in ways that are uncommon for regular families. The hospitalization serves as an example of how disease is never purely personal in this well-known family. It turns into a public narrative intertwined with issues of accountability, fortitude, and dynamics of relationships. Important details about the drama that is developing can be found in the timeframe that precedes Josh's hospitalization. Sources claimed that Josh's behavior had changed subtly in the weeks before. Moments of exhaustion, brief absences from social events, and cryptic messages on social media that allude to difficulties. Under the spotlight, these seemingly insignificant cues, which are frequently disregarded in regular families, took on greater significance, portending an impending catastrophe. Observers observe that the meticulous every disclosure is a big turning point in the Duggar family's story, since the upkeep of the family's appearance frequently conceals actual conflicts and health issues. After being admitted to the hospital, the case swiftly became a drama with complicated family dynamics and significant emotional stakes. Josh's medical staff took over as the primary focus right away, including ongoing monitoring and interventions that brought attention to how critical her condition was and how fragile her health was. According to reports, family members were by her side, striking a careful balance between handling the constant media attention, handling logistics, and offering emotional support. Concern was not the only thing raised by the hospitalization. It highlighted the stresses that come with being a member of a family, when every individual decision and experience is scrutinized by the public. Layers of power, oversight, and bargaining that are rarely apparent to outsiders are revealed when the family dynamics around this health problem are examined. Treatment decisions public. Social media exposes and announcements are meticulously planned, emphasizing the conflict between individual liberty and group family authority. Every medical decision in the Duggar case is influenced by wider factors, religious beliefs, public opinion, and family reputation. Therefore, Josh's hospitalization sheds light on the complex network of supervision, control, and emotional work that underpins high-profile family life, demonstrating both the structural demands and the resiliency of individual family members that influence their choices. Josh's hospitalization sparked an instant and strong public response. Along with a deluge of conjecture regarding the source, gravity, and ramifications of her medical condition, social media platforms were inundated with messages of sympathy, prayers, and concern. Fans looked for indications of stress or caution in previous appearances, family statements, and social media conduct. A cultural phenomena specific to families like the Duggars is reflected in this extreme scrutiny. The combination of philosophy, celebrity, and private crises are turned into public spectacles through family narrative. Every development serves as material for discussion, analysis, and remark, increasing the narrative significance and the emotional stakes. The plot arc of the developing story is evocative of traditional storytelling. Early warning signs, tension that increased as symptoms or concerns surfaced, and a dramatic conclusion that included hospitalization. Every step heightens the emotional impact by fusing the stresses of life with human vulnerability. Public awareness. This narrative structure is not coincidental, observers observe. Even personal crises can be reframed to reflect broader themes of drama, control, and resilience in families used to receiving media attention. Despite being extremely intimate, Jos's hospitalization serves as a watershed in the Duggar family's continuing public narrative. The hospitalization highlights complexity and urgency from a medical standpoint. Hospital employees offer ongoing observation, diagnosis, and action, underscoring the gravity of Jos's illness. Every medical choice has consequences for family relations, long-term effects, and acute health outcomes. Rarely are these choices made in public settings private. Every decision, test, treatment plan, or update comes into contact with societal criticism, family supervision, and public expectations, resulting in a special confluence of pressure, accountability, and visibility. Jos's story highlights the severity of health crises, amplified when public discourse, fame, and everyday life collide. The issue assumes several levels of meaning in a cultural and social context. Illness is not a personal issue in the Duggar household. It interacts with relational, performative, and symbolic expectations. Public appearances, social media posts, and family declarations all have two functions: providing accurate facts while exhibiting fortitude, faith, and conformity to family standards. Thus, the hospital stay serves as both a medical incident and a public performance, emphasizing the conflict between image maintenance and vulnerability that defines prominent family life. The story has several emotional resonances. A spectrum of anxiety, hope, and worry is produced by early indications of stress, faint signs of exhaustion, and the final hospitalization. Jos's exposure exacerbates her susceptibility and increases the emotional burden on her, her close relatives, and the general public. According to analysts, the emotional terrain in such families are complicated. Private suffering must be managed while adhering to standards of decency, religion, and serenity. The stakes are raised by this combination of social expectations and personal vulnerability, which results in a story that is both profoundly human and culturally relevant. The tight balance between caring, emotional support, and public management is exemplified by family reactions. Siblings and parents must balance the need to offer prompt assistance with the need to figure out how to openly share information. Every discussion, choice, and public declaration adds to the complex story, demonstrating both sincere concern and the deft manipulation of perception. The conflicts between autonomy, supervision, and performative expectation that characterize Duggar family life are highlighted by observers as a result of these interactions. Beyond Josie specifically, the wider ramifications touch on the interdependence of media, family unity, and health. The hospitalization triggers family changes and cascading effects. Concentration, readjusting daily schedules, and more media coverage. These cascade effects highlight how a single health incident can impact the family's emotional balance, as well as the public discourse surrounding it, with repercussions that extend well beyond its immediate context. The stakes, both private and public, are intimate and global at the same time, reflecting the particular stresses of living under continual scrutiny. In terms of narrative, the scenario emphasizes recurrent themes that have characterized Duggar life: tenacity, examination, and the conflict between individual liberty and institutional authority. Jos's story exemplifies a broader trend in the family, where personal decisions collide with public expectations, and everyday crises are transformed into major events for the media. Every update, hospital stay, and public appearance adds to a complex narrative about human frailty, complicated relationships, and the demands of living in constant public scrutiny. A fascinating and educational story is produced by the blending of medical, emotional, and social aspects. In addition to their concern for Jos's welfare, fans are drawn to the story because it sheds light on the larger workings of a highly visible and strictly regulated family system. The concurrent strain and resiliency that characterize such encounters are noted by observers. The family must manage care, feelings, and public opinion while remaining together, steadfast and composed under pressure. Reflection on the brittleness of health, the demands of publicity, and the lasting significance of support systems in prominent families is sparked by Jos's hospitalization as events progress. Every choice, every development, and every exchange adds to a narrative that goes beyond the individual and provides understanding of the larger forces that shape life while being closely watched. A story is produced when family responsibilities, public scrutiny, and human vulnerability come together. That is captivating, intricate, and memorable, leaving viewers sympathetic and thinking about the viewers are reminded by Josie Duggar's health crisis that beyond the meticulously staged appearances, carefully chosen photos, and public acts is a profoundly human reality. A young lady negotiating illness, fragility, and the confluence of personal hardship and social expectations. Every medical decision, every hospital stay, and every instance of family care adds to a narrative that is captivating not only due to its fame, but also to its universal themes of human perseverance, hardship, and resiliency. The story's development has given the coverage a level of urgency and passion that is uncommon in reality shows that focus on families. Analysts, fans, and commentators are keeping a tight eye on everything, analyzing every bit of data and speculating about possible outcomes. The stakes are raised by this convergence of evidence and conjecture, which shows how private crises in public households are concurrently emotional and structural, private and public, intimate and performative. Thus, Joss's illness turns into a pivotal point in the continuous story of Duggar life, teaching us about attention, fragility, and the human need for assistance when things are tough. The emotional resonance is still quite strong even as hospital updates keep coming in. Every social media post, every disclosure, and every family conversation adds to the multi-layered comprehension of what it means to deal with a health issue under close examination. Observers stress that Josie's pressures are distinct. Every risk, every worry, and every emotional reaction are amplified by the confluence of youth, visibility, and familial expectations. Her experience serves as a tribute to tenacity and a mirror reflecting the strength and fragility that come with juggling health and prominent family dynamics. While media outlets continue to receive messages of hope, prayers, and encouragement, fans continue to participate deeply, examine possible effects on health, relationships, and society. The story provides insight into the larger mechanisms of attention, expectation, and control by illuminating how private health incidents in families like the Duggars become public narratives. The hospitalization of Joss is not an isolated incident. It provides a window into the social, structural, and emotional forces that shape life under constant scrutiny, exposing both strength and fragility in equal measure. The severity of the circumstance is made worse by the interaction of previous family dysfunction, media attention, and continued public involvement. Through the prism of this catastrophe, every previous appearance, social media post, and family interaction is reconstructed, demonstrating how a single incident can retrospectively reveal more general patterns of performance, stress, and resilience. Joss's story, according to observers, is a prime example of the intricate relationship between personal initiative, parental supervision, and the demands of an involved public. It is both interesting and educational. Josie Duggar's plight has wider ramifications even while her hospital stay continues. Emotional stakes are still high, public interest is heightened, and family routines are adjusted. According to analysts, the story emphasizes the brittleness of meticulously cultivated public personas, the enduring strength of familial attachment, and the unpredictability of health crises in prominent settings. When public scrutiny and individual suffering come together, a narrative that is both intensely human and dramatic, leaving viewers interested, thoughtful, and worried about the young Duggar at its center. In the end, Josie Duggar's hospitalization serves as a poignant message for families that are constantly monitored. Every situation turns into a narrative. Every vulnerability has a backstory. And every event and caring moment was amplified for the world to see. Observers are still doing their analysis. Fans are still replying. And the events that are taking place are still captivating, emphasizing the remarkable demands, difficulties, and fortitude that come with living in the Duggar spotlight, where intimate moments are rarely kept private, and every personal hardship is burdened by public interest. Thank you for viewing. Viewers are reminded by Josie Duggar's health crisis that beyond the meticulously staged appearances, carefully chosen photos, and public acts is a profoundly human reality. A young lady negotiating illness, fragility, and the confluence of personal hardship and social expectations. Every hospital, every medical decision, every family care moment, and every visit all lead to an